Hey guys, this is Grixon. I have a 19 HOA that we timed yesterday, and I'd like to play it, give my thoughts on it. Let me go ahead and mute this. We don't really need the audio for it. So, same thing as always, running Wasteguard of the Crimson Rune. I'm running Bone Storm with this one. There's times when I don't like it, and there's times when I do. I timed a 19 DOS earlier today, and I was not using it. I feel with Venthyr, you can swing it if you naturally let your runic power go up, then pop it, then pop the Bone Storm, then pop your Swarming Mist to get your runic power back. I feel like if you do it the other way around, if you do the Swarming Mist first, then the runic, then the Bone Storm, I feel like it's more of a trap. You'll have times where you won't have enough or anything for Death Strike. So here I gripped the wrong mob. I should have gripped a caster. He tries to help me out there, and I start panicking and moving all around, and I shouldn't. So I end up wasting a Gorfiend's Grasp right there, and I really wanted it for the next pack. Everything goes good here. Our other melee, the Paladin, dies to a frontal a lot in this key. It's one of the downfalls of melee. If you're not really good with the frontals, it's going to happen. Make sure when you're doing these keys, you stun that Houndmaster. For me, I don't really trust other people to do it, so I'm always kind of hard focusing it. So here, I grip big. I pull big. This is probably a mistake because everybody, we lust to the first pack. This is way bigger than that first pack by a lot. And I almost go down right here. Actually, thanks to our healer Archie, I did not, but I should have died right there. And in fact, that mechanical error that I just made, that kind of greed play, ends up costing me a death and a full wipe later in the key. You'll get to see that. So right here, I Bone Storm. It was probably a bad idea. Maybe he gripped me out of it. That Bone Storm heals you for a lot. So it was a greed play right there. I probably shouldn't have made it. I'm just letting my dots fall off, and I'm really tracking that Houndmaster. I'm waiting for it so I can stun. Right here, boom, stun. Because I knew it was about to come out. I just had a feeling, So I probably took some frontals. That's probably why I took some huge spike damage. But I also just pulled really big when no one really had cooldowns. I think our mage did, and that was it. So the smarter play would have probably been to pull the make that one the lust pack. I think that would have been the smarter play. The first half of this dungeon, more like the first 75% of this dungeon, is very big aggressive pulls. See here I get very good value out of Bone Storm, and my damage is insane if you can see that. Topping out at 13k, almost 14k. As a tank, as a DK tank that has really bad threat issues just inherently in the kit, Bone Storm can be a very valuable asset to your keys. If you play it right. If you go for greed plays, it can get you killed. So it's like there's a balancing act there. I feel like it's the most viable with Venthyr just because of Swarming Mist. That's purely the only reason why, because you get a lot of runic power very often. And if you combine that with a Crimson Rune, you're pretty tanky, and you don't have to worry about bone stacks as much. Because when you pop Crimson Rune, when you pop your dancing rune weapon with Crimson Rune, you're going to get 5 stacks of bone just for popping it. And then it's double while it's up. So if you're at 5 stacks, you lose a bone, you use a stack right then and there. You press Morrowind, boom, you're at 10. So it's very easy to not waste your globals on it when you have it up, which is often. So it just further solidifies Bone Storm. Obviously, Red Thirst is very valuable, and I've leaned on it a lot. Just lately, I've been really digging the burst of Bone Storm to keep aggro. Because I have been finding that if I don't have a hunter or a rogue, big damage rips off me. Fire mages rip off me. monks rip off me. Warriors, definitely. Monks less. Warriors for sure. Fire mages for sure. And really good balanced druids. Really good boomies do it. Here I was worried about kicks. But everything went fine. Everything went fine. So we kill this. All the time I'm looking at Archie's health right here. I'm looking at his mana. So I'm trying to make sure before I do any pulls, is he going to be able to handle this? Because if you see, he's doing like no damage. So Bone Storm has been helping me because of no damage he's doing. I'm trying to make up for that. Because if you can tell, he's healing like a boss. You don't normally see healers spike up that high and just stay there. It's using a lot of his mana. I don't know if that's because of me or the whole group just taking a lot of extra damage. Unsure. Alright, so let me back up here. I grab these casters. Now here's another difficult decision. Do I Death Grip or Gorfine's these? Or do I try and pull the other little guys? Because he had CDs. Like, look, they're pulling, they're pumping right now. So it's like, do I do it here? Or do I grip these little guys in and then do it? You know what I mean? Because if I Gorfine's these all together, that would have been perfect. Because I lose a bit. I lose some here, and I never get aggro on a few of those groundskeepers. Because he starts using all of his CDs when they come in. And look, they're chasing him, so he pops trees. He's a very smart player. And then a big mistake I made here was starting to grab these before I even had aggro on those. I was kind of tunnel visioning. Not very good. Just kicking collect sins when we have them. He beams it. Archie's struggling, just trying to stay above water, as you can tell, because of my chain pulling. I think if I was a little bit more patient and separated those pulls a tad bit more, I think we would have been in a much better spot and we wouldn't have had a death there. And Archie wouldn't be at 7% mana. So we take care of this. Mage actually does a funny thing right here. He alters time, and when it ends, he gets pulled right back into a swirly to die, which is kind of funny. So we kill this guy. Then I come here, grab the Houndmaster with the LT. I always grab this pack with the LT. I just have to watch out for the loyal beasts. That's really it. He trees here, which I'm definitely okay with. I need to change my plater to signify when something has aggro from trees, because it's hard for me to tell, hey, do I have aggro, was aggro ripped from trees, or was it straight up just hitting a player? I'd like to make it so my plater actually shows, like, I don't know, maybe say I stunned that one, doing pretty good job with that. I think one goes off the entire run, and it's the one I didn't stun. So I think I would want to make these platers, I don't know, when trees or rock Ellie's out, make it like a, I don't know, like a pink, maybe pink with stripe or something. I want something to tell me. And I want it to be very different than the rest of my stuff, so I don't panic. I grip this guy in with it. I feel like, yeah, it'll be fine. I knew he was by himself, so I thought, hey, why not roll it in with the LT? Might cost us a little bit of time, because I think it would have been better to just roll him in with the next pack. This mage is really good with his altar time. Archie there just keep him topped off so he wouldn't die. And then when his altar time was almost over, he just stopped. Bursting, just being horrible when you're trying to pick an ability. The time I took to do that almost killed me. I should have maybe grabbed that pack over to the left a little bit first. Here's another risky part of the pull. It works out. Pulling this stuff, you kind of want to be conscious of what cooldowns are out. I know CDs are going on right now. I know Icy Veins was just used, or whatever it is, what he has. We stunned that Houndmaster, so that worked out well. Another thing I have issues with is my plater. I have a hard time understanding what my target is. Even though I have a glow on it, I seem to still mess it up. I lose which target I'm on. So here's the death. The greed was here for Bone Storm trying to get stacks, and I should Death Strike. Don't go for Bone Storm. Died. And then the big mistake, he went to res me and I just released. We have a battle res. I shouldn't do that. It would not have been a full wipe. But I'm used to doing it. See, I even apologize. And that is the blessing and the curse of Bone Storm. If you go for those super greedy plays, they can work out, but make sure you're safe. Like, I should have Death Striked 100%. So we tried again, and this time I understand what my mistake was. I shouldn't have done that. We go for the pull. Pretty sure Gorfiend's here. Yep. Bone Stormer's up, and I'm in a safe place. Somehow he died. Somehow the Paladin died again. He dies a lot, and he doesn't do that much damage. I wanted to take a Paladin. I convinced Archie to take him just because you never see Rep Paladins in these keys. It's unheard of. So I was curious how good they would be. And they bring a lot of utility, right? Like, they can bubble, can they Aura Mastery? I mean, there's a lot of things they can do. So I was definitely very curious to have him. I don't think he used a lot of his utility. I could be wrong on that. I don't remember a lot of pivotal moments where I was like, oh dang, dude, that was awesome. Preemptive Wings coming out. Alright, clean up this pack. I don't think I Bone Storm this. I think I hold it for the next big pull. It's not that effective on one, and I have aggro. The only thing this Bone Storm would be good for here is just the heals per second. Every tick of Bone Storm heals you. The only problem with this is you miss out on Red Thirst, which is very nice. Okay. Now I like to pull this together. I pull this caster, I grip him usually, and then I grab all this. Gorfiend's is up in 8 seconds. This is typically what I would do. Gorfiend's Crixin. Okay, or grip that guy in something. Okay. So now I'm just keeping a very close eye on frontals and dot. Those hounds are insane. A buddy of mine tried to correct me when I called them dogs, and he said that they're bears. But why would they be bears when there's a hound master? This is the one I missed. See, I didn't get it off in time. So that's a tank. Once those suckers get big like that, you just leave. Don't even try and take those hits. Especially on a fortified week, forget about it. 0-sum game. So we're good. They're down. Druid even soothed one for me and then popped trees. Oh, that's right, Gorfiend's at the very end. I'm definitely not a blood DK god, that's for sure. So we're good on count. 79.85 is perfect. Now we're just trying to get these Stoneborn to roll in with the boss. That Boomy is he's a tank main, so he has a good game sense. So you can grab both of these if you just spam click it. If you spam click the ability, you'll be able to get both of them together, as long as they're close to each other. And if you don't know what Swarming Mist does, obviously the more it's uncapped, which I guess you'd care about. After 5 it loses effectiveness, but it's really not about the damage. It gives you 30% dodge, and it gives you runic power per mob hit per tick. So if you do a huge pull and you pop that, you're going to have max runic power in like 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Which means you can Bone Storm and still get ticks of it, because it lasts a good amount of time. I think if I was any other Covenant, I would not run Bone Storm at any time. I'm not skilled enough to stay high enough in Bone Shield stacks and runic power and pop that. I wanted to move him out a little further, but the Druid he kind of wasn't moving with me, and I didn't want him to get feared. But I guess if that happened, I could have told Archie to life grip him, because we are in Discord together. My guild master a little bummed we did HOA without him. If I remember, when we were making the group, he wasn't around because we did look for him. We were saying, who do we know that can do enough damage to do a 19 in our guild? Then we were saying, okay, where's Chaos? Is he around? We checked. He wasn't, so it was unfortunate timing. DKs are pretty slow, so if you can Death Advance, then pop your potion, you can get to where you need to get to a little faster, because we have nothing else, unless you're Night Fae. Mage, for some reason, did not have Invis. I'm pretty sure they have Camouflage, or whatever they call it, just invisibility. I don't know what happened there. But rest him, everything's fine. It was just some valuable time, but you did fine. Timer is looking tight, for sure. I normally try and save Gorfiends for the second wave of ads, not the first. But for this one, I ended up doing it on the first, because I had Bone Storm and I was itching to use it, plus my scale. It's a lot of quick. See, just everything died, and that wasn't just because of me, but they had cooldowns too. So we will see a mistake by the Druid in this next wave of ads. He tries to not get the dot. When this guy slams down, he puts a dot on you. Anybody who's in the reticle. So he tries to do a very good move where right when it's about to fall on you, you blink away. So in the stone call right here, this is where it's going to happen. And he blinks away too early. He gets leaped on far away, and the dot gets him. And these don't get smashed. So we get all these together. This is the one spot where Necrolord would be so amazing. We get all these together, it's good right here. Look, we're starting it. He's going in the circle. And he blinks away too early. It leaps over with him. He gets the dot, and these don't get killed. So if you're doing that kind of a... almost dropped something. That's not good. If you're doing this kind of a cheese, it's very good. It helps the healer a lot, especially on tyrannical weeks. It's very important. If you're doing something like that, timing is critical here. See, and I don't have Gorfiends to wrangle this up at all. If this was tyrannical, this would most likely be a wipe, for sure. A higher tyrannical key would be very hard right there. If you're not Necrolord, or you don't have one, if you don't have a Necro DK with you, or if you're not, stuff he could have done there, he could have Typhooned. Actually, yeah, he could have Typhooned. A few things could have been done to help there, but I'm pretty sure he was worried about doing damage. Okay. Off to Varuth. I don't like to pull him with anything on most runs because of the negative 50% healing he does to the whole party. Oh, it was Door of Shadows he tried to do. Interesting. But he knows it, he recognizes it. He has a brain, actually. Some of these DPS I run with, I'm in no way super good or qualified, but whenever I try and do higher keys, I see people with good ratings. I'm like, oh man, this is going to be such a good group. And some of them I'm just completely godsmacked. It's like, how did you even get to this point? How did you get here? Like, I don't mean to speak too bad about people, but I don't know how some people put their shoes on in the morning. Let alone do 20s. Mythic. Gorfiends here, get them together. I think they were expecting me to kite them back, but if I can Gorfiends, I'm going to do it. We just have to be really mindful of these Houndmasters. Tornado's just knocking me around. I don't have Death's Advance for these. So as a DK, you can stun one, and you can grip the other. So now that I know that one's taken care of, I think I look at the other one now. I have a macro that just mouse over grips, so I don't actually have to target them. So I think that's why I was looking out like I was. I have 7 bleeds though. So we're going to do this pull, no problem. I think I must go down a few times actually, but don't. We skip Sogadon. He leaves a buff on the boss, which makes it so they do more physical damage. The only thing of concern on the last boss with physical is the statues. So if you're decent at dodging statues, it's pretty free. You're not talking about a whole lot of time, but in this key it actually mattered. So it's just making those judgments. Kicking collects sins. In this case I stunned it because I didn't have a kick up. If you're DPS, or really anybody who can kick those obliterations and the I'm gonna back for it. One thing that's very important is the wicked bolts. Those need to be kicked. Those do so much damage. I'm pretty sure they're a nerf too, but they still do so much. Just grabbing the gargoyles here to do the same trick where you pull both at the same time. Just spam the button when they're close to each other. Easy. Now, someone in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong, but they give 10% damage reduction each. I think it adds, I know it's 10% DR for one. I think it's both, so I think it's 20% DR for the group here. Correct me. And they do a decent amount of damage. Archie raised an interesting question here. He had heard online, which he hasn't tried it yet, this is untested, that giving PI, power infusion, to one of the gargoyles is better than a player because they benefit greatly from haste. I mean, if you look at my damage, I'm top DPS on a single target because of these guys. So it'd be interesting to see the difference. I don't think you would outperform a good DPS with cooldowns, but if there isn't anybody with cooldowns, I could see it being very nice. Especially for single target like this. Because they do not cleave, they are single target. Okay, nothing crazy here. We fight the boss that dies. So we start this round. I kept Bone Storm. I kept Dancing Rune Weapon so I can Blood Boil. If Dancing Rune Weapon is up and you Blood Boil, it puts 2 of the dots on the Blood Plague. The second one is 33% effective of the first one, but it is still 33%, so it's very helpful. So just trying to spread the dot as much as I can to as many things as I can. Trying to hold my own on the DPS meters for this. Like I said, when I run with a Holy Priest, I feel I'm responsible with doing more damage to make up for the loss of damage with the Holy Priest. You could argue that their damage is from power infusion, giving it to other DPS to do more to make up for that. That's true. But anything I can do to help to make you successful, I'm going to try. Obviously, I need more practice with Bone Storm. It wiped me once, almost killed me 2 other times. These little things like to fixate on people. And the one that is fixating, when you kill it, it drops a red puddle. I want the circle on him. He just dropped a red puddle. Okay, we're looking pretty good here. A little under 4 minutes left to go. I did not anticipate this guy taking as long as he did to kill, because everybody's saving their cooldowns for the boss. So, nothing. See, as you can tell, it takes a long time. We take almost a full minute after everything else is dead to kill this guy, which I'm getting impatient. See? So now we only have 2 minutes and 55 seconds as opposed to 3 minutes and 55 seconds. I'm pretty sure the very first statue that comes out wipes that paladin again. Yep, he just stands there and takes it. So I'm waiting to see if he'll be rezzed by the druid. He does not, because he's in a burst window, so I chip in. If we have somebody else who can battle res, I try to let them, because it costs runic power, and sometimes that can mean life or death. Obviously in this case it didn't, but I still waited a few seconds to see if it would. If you stand in the middle here, you can soak at least 2 of these beams. I wish that guy would have stayed in the AMZ just for a little extra damage mitigation. He's melting fast though. That druid is insane. Without him, no way we would have timed it. We're still looking good on time right now, but now that cooldowns are done, and this paladin never really popped off, so. And I'm pretty sure when he was in his burst window, Archie gave the druid PI. That's probably why he did as much as he did. That paladin almost ran into that statue. The guy just had no idea what he was doing. So it's pretty good. 44 seconds left. It actually wasn't that tight. As you can see, paladin did 7.9k. Everybody else did much higher. I did 5.7 on that. That's mostly thanks to Bone Storm. I usually don't do too much because I don't have healing trinkets. Not healing trinkets, sorry, stamina trinkets to lean into Stygian King Barbs. Alright, and that's the key. That was everything that went through. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for analyzing with me. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.